Welcome to the Dental 18 podcast. I'm your host, Kira Dent, and I have this crazy idea that maybe I could combine a doctor and a team member's perspective because let's face it, dentistry can be a challenging profession with those two perspectives. I've been a dental assistant, treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, regional manager, practice owner, and I have a team of traveling consultants where we have traveled to over 165 different offices coaching teams. Yep, we don't just understand you, we are you. Our mission is to positively impact the world of dental, and I believe that this podcast is the greatest way I can help elevate teams, grow VIP experiences, reduce stress, and create A-teams. Welcome to the Dental 18 podcast. All right, we ready for this? We've got Rachel, Kaylee. I think Ash is joining us today. I'm not totally sure if that's happening. And we have all of you. Tiff, you're there. We're all just rocking it out today. You guys, thanks for joining us. We're super, super excited to have you all here. So, as always, I like to just have a ton of fun in life. So, for all of you watching, thanks for being on time. We actually have a really fun surprise. I'm actually in Utah with Ashley today. Ash, how you doing?
Hello. I'm so great.
It's so fun. We were trying to think of how we were going to do this and wondering if any of you would notice I'm at Ashley's house. I had to quickly message Tiff so she wouldn't ruin the surprise for you guys. But we're super jazzed to have you. And my family, I have a lot of family in Utah, and I don't get to see them very often. So I actually made a drive yesterday. I had a meeting with some companies, and I got to see Ashley. So we are not social distancing, as you can see, because we decided that if one of us has it, then the other one's going to get it. So we're so excited. Kaylee just said, love having our consultants together. I agree. We've missed each other. Tiff. So when are you making the trip to Utah?
Oh my gosh, not today. I'll be there in a couple weeks though.
You will. Maybe we'll have to have all three of us together on Workshop Wednesday. So you guys, as always, thank you for joining us. Thanks for joining us on Workshop Wednesday. We know that you guys are going back to your practices, and a lot of you have kind of been asking, so what's the plan? What's going on with Workshop Wednesday? And the answer is we are going to continue with Workshop Wednesday. So be excited, you guys. Today we're going to be wrapping up treatment planning. Next week, we're actually going to be focusing on, I haven't told Tiff this, so she's ready for the surprise. This is probably why everybody's like, oh, what's Kira going to bring up? But we are actually going to be working on patient experience. Next week will be our topic of discussion. We know you guys are going back to the offices, so really getting you dialed into patient experience. So, as always, since I am in a place that's different, we've got the coaches here. Laramie will be joining us. Charlie has actually, you guys, she is freaking spreading her wings, and she's going to be doing some other things in her life. So she won't be joining us on Workshop Wednesdays anymore. We're so excited for her. So you've got the A-team here. We're going to be having new members always joining us. So be prepared. Get ready. So Tiff, before we get started, where are you coming from today?
I am in Phoenix, Arizona in my little office here. Loving on this. I'm so excited for today. I love treatment planning. And I'm excited to see both of you together. It's so cute.
It's so fun. It's so fun. If you guys don't know, Tiff has been with the Dental A-team for so long. She is our guru on all things billing. I really think Tiffany is incredible also with treatment planning. So I'm super excited to have her ideas. If you guys didn't see her cool video on the Dental A-team's Instagram page, go check it out, because Tiff has some of the most incredible eyes, and then some of the shots, you can actually see them. So it's really fun. We actually, in case you want to know behind the scenes, Tiff didn't actually have a real treatment plan at the office. I think it was a blank piece of paper. So if you look real close on the video, that's what was really going on. And then we have Ash. Ashley, tell us a little bit about yourself. I feel like you want a podcast together?
Introduction forever. I'm Ashley Dorn. Obviously, we're here in Salt Lake City, Utah, originally from the Midwest. Man, I've been with the Dental A-team for almost a year. Every time. I've been with the Dental A-team for almost a year now. Absolutely love dentistry. As I say every single week, it's my jam. It's my life. It's my livelihood. So I love learning. I love growing, and I love helping teams.
Yeah. And if you guys don't know, Ash is modest, and she's not bragging about how incredible she is with all things marketing, all things back office. Ashley is a wizard at efficiency and details. So she does all that for us in our company. I was actually just picking her brain on some of our new ideas as we're walking back from lunch. So we also have Kaylee and Rachel behind the scenes. They are the ones who make this happen. And then all of you. All right. We want to hear from you. So give us a shout out today of where you all are coming from. So pop it in the chat. You guys know how to use the chat. We make these interactive. I want to know where people are at today. So let us know what state you're in. Pop it in. We're going to wait till we hear from you guys. Where are people? Reno, Nevada. Kaylee Taylor. Yeah, girl. Wisconsin, California.
Yes.
There's Ashes. North Idaho. All right. Where else do we have you guys coming in from? Pop them in there. Salem, Massachusetts, Dr. Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Oh, man, we want to be there. That sounds lovely. You've got the beaches. San Francisco. We've got Liz. Liz on our team. She actually lives in San Fran. It's raining. Oh, good to know the Florida's just raining. Dallas, Texas heat. Yeah, you are. And you have the best barbecue. So you better be hitting up that, is it the Pecan Lodge? You should definitely be hitting that up. We've got some Californians there. Yeah, Callies. That's where my family's from. That's where I'm originally from. All right, you guys, who is ready for Workshop Wednesday? Give us a yes without saying yes. I love this part because I want to know what you're going to say. Who's excited for Workshop Wednesday? Give us a yes. Yeah. Woohoo. What else do we have? Psyched up. Let's go. I agree. Yeehaw. You guys kill me every week. I love this. On fire. Love it. Keep them coming. You guys are ready for this. All right. So last week, thank you guys for participating. I feed off of your guys' comments and all of that. So keep them coming. You guys also add some quick housekeeping tips on chat. She's always on chat. And if you guys want, there is the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. So if while we're chatting today, a question comes up, you want to know something, be sure 100% to use that chat. You guys know how to do this. You guys know that Workshop Wednesday is not just to sit there passively listening, but to actively be working. So last week, I want to hear, how did treatment planning go? What did you implement? Put it in the chat. We are going to reward someone today with a $50 Amazon gift card of my choosing based on what you implemented last week. So Kaylee and Rachel, get ready to send that. We'll be sending it over as soon as this workshop ends today. What did you guys implement last week? There is a $50 Amazon gift card on the line for the best answer right now. What did you guys implement last week? If you weren't here last week, that's okay. Tell us something that you're implementing in your practice. Bundled treatment and visits with a flex demo. Steve, rocking it. That's huge implementation. Nice job. What else do we have out there? You guys are all listening? What else did you implement from last week? We want you to take action. What else do we have out there? I'm going to awkwardly wait. Printed the what not to say list and got front on board. That's a huge win. Getting your team on board is incredible because you guys come here, you listen, get fired up, and then having your team actually execute on it, that's a whole different story. So nice job, Ashley. Proud of you on that one. Any others out there? What did you implement from last week where you took action and actually did something? Prepayment, Betty, nice job on that. That's a huge win. Those prepayments, super solid win. Really proud of you on that one. Any others out there? I know there's a lot of you. Don't worry. We're seeing all of our participants over there. Any other things? By the way, Steve, since you are our bravest contestant, you are the winner of our $50 Amazon gift card. Kaylee and Rachel, please make sure Steve gets that. So Steve, go rock on. Buy something incredible off of Amazon. Thanks for being the first one to participate. There are participation rewards here, you guys, because guess what? You've got to make this actually happen. So fantastic. Steve, congrats. You'll be getting that as soon as the workshop's over, if not sooner, because I know Ashley and Rachel are real quick. Ashley, Kaylee or Rachel, if you'll please just send Steve a message to get his info. That'd be great. All right, you guys, let's dive into today. Tiff, you ready for treatment planning? Yes, great. Okay,
I'm always ready.
So ready.
So ready. It's so fun to have Ashley and I here. Like, it's been so long since we've been together.
I will say my energy level normally is like right around here on these workshops. Like right now it's way up here.
I'm just bringing it to you guys. I actually went and met with Dental Intelligence yesterday. I was at their headquarters, and it was funny because I've done some webinars with them, and Jerem, who I know pretty well, he said, Kira, your energy coming through the screen is very similar to in person. And so I was like, good, this is great. So I hope you guys are loving it. You're feeling it as well. All right. So today, treatment planning 2.0 is where we're going to dive into. So last week we talked about treatment planning 1.0. We talked about forms, words to say, words not to say. We also talked about like kind of the phases for that and role played that out. So the reason today we talked about it as, yes, Steve, you just spoke to my heart. He's going to go by traction. High five, Ash. That is it. We have convinced you that traction is the best thing. High five, Tiff, through the screen. I feel like we're leaving you out today. Steve's super jazzed for you. So, okay, back to on track, you guys. It's a really fun day over here because I'm with Ash. It's just a more fun day. I hope you guys are loving it too. So what we're going to do now is treatment planning 2.0. So with that treatment planning 2.0, this is where we're going from your basic procedures to your more advanced procedures. So Rachel, you're awesome. You dropped the worksheets in the chat. If you will please share with everybody again, just so they have it. This is what we're going to be working on today. You guys know it's Workshop Wednesday. We're working. We're going to get this dialed in because a true decision is not made until what? Action is taken. Okay, so we've got to actually take action if we're going to truly make a decision. So treatment 2.0, taking payment. So what we're going to do is treatment planning large cases from small cases are done a little bit differently. And I want Ashley and Tiff to weigh in on this as well. I know, and what I'm going to define as like a large case versus a small case. A large case is your like full mouth restoration. So if you're doing like a whole implant case, if you're doing a cosmetic case, things that have, you know, we're talking you're like between $15,000 to $80,000 treatment plan. Okay. So that's going to be treatment planned a little bit differently than say a smaller case that's below that $15,000. And typically with a large case, it's, hey, Ash, we're doing all these implants. We're doing this whole cosmetic case. We're going to present it differently than we would small cases. And this is something I learned through treatment planning a lot. I used to think everything should be presented like a small case, and I realized I wasn't getting as great of acceptance. So believe it or not, I actually attended with an office. I went through 9 months of implant training. Yep, I went through every single course. I flew to Vegas every single month. I actually worked on a cadaver. It was really fun. The doctor was awesome to take me along. And I did it because I wanted to learn more. So some of the ideas we're going to share with you today for large cases actually came from that course where I attended. It was the Maxi Implant course. Super good course. I think there might be a few other ones that we might recommend to you if you're looking for one. Gave a lot of confidence though, so we could take a brand new grad out of school to be doing full mouth cases. I remember our first sinus lift, you guys, this is a true story. The dentist and I, so we practiced on the cadaver. Like that was cool. But they had us practice on an egg because an egg shell and the, what is that part?
Sinus wall or membrane.
Yeah, the membrane on an egg, like it feels similar. I don't know. I've never done it on a live person, so I can't tell you. But they say it feels very similar. So I'm not kidding. Our first patient in the office for a sinus lift, I remember looking at the doctor and I said, we've done this one time before on an egg. And now you're going to do it on a patient? Like, oh my gosh, I was stressed out of my mind. And that was our first sinus experience. And we learned a lot of great things from it. But that's how it works, right? We've got to just jump in and dive in. Same thing with treatment planning 2.0. So get your feet wet on treatment planning 1.0, smaller cases. The small case steps, all right, you guys, get your worksheets. Does everybody have their worksheet? Give us a yes. I want to make sure you have these worksheets up. Put it in the chat, please. Tiff, do they have it? I can't see 100%. Ashley might have to help me. We have her screen. It's a bigger screen. Oh, thanks.
Got a couple yeses.
Got a couple yeses? There it is. Perfect. Okay, got the yeses. Yep. All right, get your guys' worksheets up. We want you guys participating with us. Thank you. All right, you guys. So small case steps. Again, these are, we're going to say like these are below 15,000. Okay, so that's what we're working on here. So the small case steps. Step number 1. You guys should know this from last week. So put it in the chat. We're going to watch it. What was the first step? This is pretty much a review from last week because we talked about small cases. What was the first step we did in the small cases? Somebody pop it in the chat. What is our first step? It's okay if you're wrong. Don't stress. What is the first step we do when we're treatment planning? Tiff, you unmuted.
I was just going to say the most important thing to do is to participate. And the reason that we don't participate is because we don't have the knowledge. The only way to get the knowledge is to participate. So just think about what has to happen. What's the first step? What happens before you can even present a treatment plan?
Insurance verify. Steve, nice job. Prioritize. Ashley, keep them coming. Good job. Good job. You guys are good. Prioritize, insurance verify. So Steve, to answer it, you are correct. Insurance verification was the first thing we did. On these steps, we're going to say prioritize/phase the treatment plans. Okay? That is going to be step 1 because we've insurance verified already. That should have been taken care of. Steve, you're absolutely correct. Love that. All right. Next step is going to be, what do we do next? Schedule. Right? Don't go to presenting money first. We schedule. Why? Why on earth, Kimberly, prepare multiple treatment plans for options? Yes, you're exactly right. That is going to be this phase. Preparing multiple options if that's part of it. All right? Then we schedule. Why? What are we putting the emphasis on? Ash, do you remember? What's the emphasis on when we schedule first versus talking money first?
You're asking me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's two Ashley.
Sorry about that.
We definitely want to get the buy-in and the commitment from the patient and let them know, create some sort of urgency around getting them in the doctor's schedule. Of course, we're going to review all the finances with you. We're crystal clear about that, but let's go ahead and get you scheduled because that's a priority.
100%. Yes. This is the focus, as Ashley was saying. The focus here is on the treatment, not on the money. We are assuming, what are we assuming? We're assuming we're assuming they're going to schedule with us. Sorry, Ashley over there. Apologize over there. Don't you fret. This is Ashley Dorn. I'll start calling her Dorn. We'll see if it'll stick. I have no idea. That's her lacrosse name. Ashley, if you guys don't know this, Ashley Dorn, she is a bird of many feathers. Like, she was a DJ in another life. She was a model in another life. She plays lacrosse. So if you want to know all these cool things.
It's rugby.
Oh, sorry about that, rugby. I apologize. Thanks for the correction. All right. So with that, we prioritize plan. That's going to be first. Then we schedule. After that, we're going to present. Okay, so we're going to present the treatment plan. There's something super important here. Do we say the numbers out loud when we're doing money? Like, hey, Ashley, Ashley Dorn, so the dollar amount, so like your treatment plan is $8,000 and insurance is estimated to pay $2,000, so your out-of-pocket will be $6,000. No, what do we do instead? We point. Okay, point to the numbers, exactly. And then the last thing we do is, and I having these is a little funny for you, so you guys might not know, we pause. Okay, remember, this is the art of silence. Remember why? Why do we pause? So I just presented a treatment plan. So, hey, Ash, this is what your treatment plan total is. This is what insurance is estimated. And this is the total out-of-pocket portion. I zip my lips right there. Why? And why do we call this the art of silence? What do you guys think? Somebody pop it in there. What is the reason for this? Pop it in the chat. Yeah, the first one to speak loses. Don't presume to know what their reservations are. High five to you guys. Did you notice that I sat here awkwardly, paused? It felt like an eternity for me while I was waiting for an answer. Guess what? They all just popped back in. They gave an answer. The reality is we probably sat here for maybe 15, 30 seconds. In the reality, like in all seriousness, it wasn't that long. It felt really long to me. I was like, oh, should I say something? Betty, you're exactly right. The next person who speaks loses. And as much as we don't want to talk about it, we are negotiating. That is what we're doing. We are presenting a dollar amount and seeing if they want to say yes. There is psychological evidence that when you guys truly respond and say something next, you actually lose and they won't say yes to the treatment plan. I love what Steve said. You don't presume to know what their reservations are. Just like Tiffany said, you can actually plant seeds of doubt. You can put reservations in there that they didn't even know they had because we're assuming something. We don't create problems that didn't exist. That's exactly right. This is so hard. I wanted to speak, you guys, when you weren't responding. It was awkward for me. I am not immune to it, and I've been doing this for years. The reality is, guess what? You've got to pause. People will respond if given an opportunity. They're just sorting out. You guys were thinking, I'm sure that's what it was. They're like, oh, do I actually participate? Do I not participate? So we want to make sure that that's what's going on. I don't want to pop in there like, oh, you guys just don't know, so I'll tell you. You do know. You knew exactly why. And I purposely did that with you to show the power of the pause, the art of silence will get a result every single time. And it's usually the result you're looking for. Okay? So those are our small case steps. Now, up next, large case steps. So of these ones, guess what? A lot of this is going to be the exact same. It's very, very, very similar. The only thing, I'm just going to copy and paste it down. The only thing that's really different is this when we prioritize in phase right here. I don't like to have multiple options on big cases. That's my personal preference because we got to simplify this. If I'm talking a $40,000 treatment plan, I don't want to have multiple different options. Tiff, thoughts on that? Like, what are your thoughts on the prioritize in phase for larger cases?
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't want a bunch of stuff to look at, and I like less confusion. Remember, we talked about that last week with the different treatment planning options. So if there's different phases or not phases, sorry, if there's different options, I would present them separately. So like a bridge, an implant, or just an extraction. I would do 3 separate treatment plans, but then you have to remember to go in and delete the options that they didn't choose.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Exactly. I'm going to put on here real quick, you guys, a really fantastic quote that I love. And they say complexity is the enemy of execution. Okay. So what that means is if we make this too complicated, Tiffany gives them 3 options. Guess what? That's complicated. That's complex. Docs, before you leave them, I know you want to get out of there. Well, I'm assuming, I don't know, I've never been you, so I'm guessing that you want to just drop it and say, hey, this is what's happening. We'll catch you later. Like, Kira's a great treatment coordinator. She'll figure out exactly what you want. Doctors, you can actually get a commitment, a buy-in from them from the beginning where they say like, and you can ask them, do you prefer like if money wasn't an option or if there weren't any issues or reservations, what would be your preferred treatment plan? Well, I want fixed. Okay, so if you want fixed, like that's ultimately what you want to do, let's go down that path. There's always a solution within that. I think sometimes asking better questions will lead to better results. So docs, if you can just do a little like weeding through and ask some pretty direct questions, it doesn't make you less approachable. It doesn't mean you're forcing them in a way. You're just making it easier for them to say yes. You've removed a lot of that cloudiness. So I really love when we prioritize and plan and phase, just so you guys know, make quick buttons. So when I used to present my implant cases, we had quick buttons for prioritizing and phasing. I literally clicked a button, 3 dummy codes showed up. So like there's a little implant icon and there were only 3 things that showed up in my treatment plan. It did not have the abutment, the 20 implants we were going to place, the custom abutment or the just lab abutment. There wasn't all those pieces. That is confusing for patients. And when they see that laundry list on your treatment plan, that creates confusion. So when we pushed on the implant button, it said like, yes, Tiffany, thank you for that. I got rid of the a la carte mentality. We're not going to like, can I have this spark plug, but not this bumper? Like, no, we're getting the whole thing. This is a treatment plan. And I learned this in the implant course. So I literally made dummy codes. They're not ADA codes. And mine were for implants. I'll put them here. It was extract and place. The next one was impressions. And the last one was delivery. Okay, so if I was doing an upper and our total for this was going to be, it was usually like 35,000 to 55K, whatever it is. All right. There's a lot of things that go into that. We have extraction, we have bone grafting, we have membranes, we have all those pieces to it. But guess what? To the normal person, they don't really care. They just say like, give me a good result. That's what I'm looking for. And this makes it so much easier. So now if I'm presenting to Ashley Dorn, what's going to happen is I literally can say, hey, guess what, Ash, we're going to do these, we're going to do this implant, this whole mouth case, and we're doing it in 3 simple steps. We're doing extractions and placement first. We're going to then take an impression on your next visit, and we're going to deliver on your 3rd visit. There might be some areas we need to check you a little bit, but at the end of the day, those are the 3 visits that we'll be seeing you for. There were different dollar amounts right here. So this one would be like, if it's a $55,000 case, we got like 25,976. This one might be, I'm not adding this up, you guys, so just don't panic over there. Okay, so maybe it would be that number, and then on the delivery it would be like 12,765 or something like that. Okay, so they're all really random numbers, but I had a dollar amount for each one of these dummy codes. This is going to help you guys have so much more simplicity. Instead of saying like, well, Ashley, let's talk about an implant, when the reality is she's like, guess what? Money is my thing. I'm not going to pay for that. Before this, you guys, you can actually do, these are going to be pre-pairing questions, okay? I had an office and I love this. And they asked me, Kira, what is the most important to you? And they literally showed me this form, and it was cosmetics, function, longevity, or cost. And I actually think they were in that exact order. So they literally had a little laminated sheet and they said, hey, Kira, just so we're on the same page with you, what's the most important thing to you? And I remember looking at this, and the reason I remember these is because the truth was cosmetics and longevity were my 2. I want, call me vain, I want pretty teeth, and I want my teeth to last for a long time. That's what's most important to me. So instead of them guessing, does Kira care about cost? Does she care about cosmetics? They asked me this question directly, and I could give them an answer. Tip.
I have a lot of offices who do this, and they actually utilize it within their hygiene appointment. So they have, it's like a questionnaire, but they're also doing it while they're cleaning their patient's teeth or flossing or whatever. So it's more casual conversation between them and the patient, and then they bring it up to the doctor later too.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And Ashley Dorn, if you've got thoughts, you got to just like,
chime in.
Yeah, because I can't see you unmute. So
yeah, no, I totally love that. Same thing with Tiff. I think working it into some sort of casual conversation is great. I'm also a huge fan, and I tell this to the teams that I coach, on your new patient packets, you can create forms that say this. So it's just like part of their new patient, like getting to know them process. And I also really like the question, in addition to this, which goes into treatment planning as well, is how do you like to receive information? Are you the person who likes a ton of details? Are you somebody who just wants to know like the basics and bullet points? Like, how do you like to receive information? Because I don't want to give you a ton of details if you're just going to sit there and get frustrated with me. Mm-hmm. But realistically, if you are somebody, then I know that I need to give you a lot of information, or that you're potentially going to have a lot of questions. So yes. Right within like a new patient packet is where I like to see a lot of these too.
Brilliant, Ash. And thank you for bringing that back up, because if you guys can't tell, if you are looking at me and Ashley Doran here, who's the bullet girl? Who likes bullet points? Oh, that's me. Who likes details? That's definitely Ash. Okay. And when Ashley and I send emails back and forth, Ashley has like long paragraphs for me, and she's learned if she wants me to read it, like give me my like 3 bullet points or highlight my name where I need to read. And with Ashley, I'm getting better. I'm not perfect of giving her more details so she has the specifics. That's why I rely on Kaylee and Rachel to fill in the details. But the reality is that's going to help you guys. So instead of guessing and assuming, asking these questions. And the office who did this to me, like I've physically been a patient and they had a laminated sheet and they said, hey, Kira, which ones of these are most important to you? Like, what's the most important to you? Select one. They didn't influence me. I do like that cost was at the bottom. You could try and like play around to see if cost is coming up all the time, because we often think it's cost. And the reality is that's not usually most people's driving force. You'd be shocked. So now you can just then tie back in their same words. And then how do you like to receive information? Are you more of like a bullet point girl, or are you more of the details? Like, let me know so that way I make sure I deliver for you. This will help with your treatment planning. So that's kind of like the preparing questions beforehand. Now, when we prioritize cases and treatment plans, cut the a la carte options and cut the multiple options, especially on these big cases, you guys. A lot of offices I found, and I'm curious of Tiffany and Ashley's input on this because I don't know for sure. A lot of offices will actually bring these big cases back for consultations. Tiff and Ash, what's your weigh in on consultations for that? I've got my opinion, but I'm curious on your opinions.
You want me to go first? So for the patients that really like a lot of details, I find that it's usually worth the investment to bring them back for a consultation. Now, that being said, I'm a firm believer that your dental assistant should be able to run 90% of that consultation and answer those questions, because I'm a huge fan of like cross-training and having really, really high-level elite dental assistants that can answer those questions. Granted, doctor and patient relationship is huge. And so I do think they should pop in for like maybe 5 minutes. That's how I've ran it in like big cosmetic cases where we had these $60,000 plus treatment plans. Mm-hmm. So I think taking it on a case-by-case basis is normally how I coach. For the patients that need it, I think it's worth it. But for the patients that don't necessarily need it, and as much as you can answer those questions or that information, get really good at your case presentation, and you'll see that that consultation necessity isn't necessarily there.
Hello, Dental A Team listeners. I am so excited because we have truly been fortunate and blessed to work with so many incredible practices across the nation and globe. We have what is called our Platinum practice, and that is super popular. And this quarter, we are only bringing in 3 new Platinum practices. This is an area that is going to grow you exponentially. So give us a call. We only have limited space. I said only 3 this quarter due to popularity and demand. So let's get you in as a Platinum practice this quarter.
Awesome. I like that. Tiff, what are your thoughts? Thank you, Ashley.
So I say present all that you can as soon as you can, which I think Ashley was saying exactly the same thing, right? If you have to, then yeah, bring them back. I prefer to bring them back coupled with treatment. So if they've just got like a couple fillings that they definitely need to get done, and then you need to review the cosmetic stuff, have them come in for the treatment and then schedule the time later, because you're locking them into it a lot of times. And you could just have a shopper, right? So they don't come back for the consult. I would just hate to put all of that work into preparing it, getting it ready. You've blocked out time on your schedule and now somebody doesn't show up. So the best person to sell is the person that's sitting in your chair right now. One thing that we did to help combat it, because I know a lot of times it's like, well, we don't have time. I don't have time to get all the information together. I've got other things to do. So we always had someone else queued up where we would say like, okay, Sarah's going to be with this patient for potentially 45 to 60 minutes, and she still has to prep. So Trista and Trisha, you're next on treatment coordinating. So we would tee up the other girls to give that one treatment coordinator the time that she needed.
Awesome. And I do like that proactive nature. So mine, you guys, thank you, Tiffany. You can't tell, I was always about, let's do it today. I want to, because you're there, we've just talked to you about it. And you're going to have questions for me for sure, but like, let me solve them while you're here today. So most people come in, I mean, some people might not be ready to do it, but when we're talking these bigger cases, most of the time, not always, they're usually pretty prepared. I mean, somebody who has a full-on mouth that's not healthy, they usually know it's going to be a decent amount of work when they come to the dentist. People who want cosmetic cases, they know, most people already have it planted that this is going to cost me a decent amount and I'm going to have some visits. So I don't think it's necessary, but like to Ashley's point, if there's somebody who's really big on details, a consult can help you exponentially answer their questions. I really do love, though, if you can close it that day, you will get more successes. And if you plan on that, some offices, like their go-to standard is we always bring them back for a consult. And I keep thinking, maybe just try it. Just try presenting same day and see what happens. You guys, I literally used to close $80,000 cases same day all the time, and they would show up. That was what I did. I would talk to them. My treatment plans were a little bit longer sometimes. But when I had these 3 quick buttons, it didn't take me long to prepare a treatment plan at all. Insurance wasn't really my thing. I was like, well, insurance is a coupon. We're going to maximize it to its fullest amount. Plan to pay this amount. So if insurance pays nothing, you're not going to be disappointed with me. Plan to pay this. They're a coupon. We're going to maximize it as much as we can, but plan to pay this. So I was really big, especially on these bigger cases, insurance is a coupon. That way the expectation's set. Pay $80,000. Like, let's plan that. If I can get it cheaper for you, save money on your insurance, let's do that. But then I, as a treatment coordinator, wasn't as fuzzy when I was presenting that. So with that, I want you guys to definitely pop in if you have questions. If we maybe like challenged a belief for you and you're like, wait, I disagree with that, pop in there, ask us, because we want you to get really solid. And I always tell people like, hey, try it for 6 weeks. If it doesn't work, you can always change it back. This is a time to pivot, to innovate, and create something different. So you're welcome to try that. So with our steps here, we've got the preparing questions. We put those in there. If you want to try that, I think they're awesome. I do like asking. I do like showing them on a laminated sheet. I think you'll get more information quicker. You're going to deliver better treatment plans. Then we prioritize phase, treatment plan, prepare multiple options. Like, we're going to cut that out. We're actually not going to prepare multiple options. We recommend, especially with these bigger ones, it's a very simple, direct. Docs, these are big cases. You've got to be direct on this because it makes it easier for everyone when you're direct. Kira, this is what's happening, especially when someone's planning to spend $30,000, $45,000, $60,000, $80,000 with you. You've got to be confident, clear, and direct, because that complexity is going to lose this case for you. Make it clear, make it simple. This is what you're doing. With that, also, we're going to put on here, create, we'll call them dummy codes. So these aren't real codes for these big procedures. What will happen is then when a dental assistant's in there with doctor, they can just click it, have these dummy codes pop up faster. So the prioritizing, phasing, and treatment plan is much easier. Yes, you will still have the ADA codes, and we're still going to bill every single code out. But what the patient's going to see is this very simple. What the dental assistant will see is a very simple one. You could probably have an implant 1, implant 2. So that way they push them both, but we put these first 3 that are the simple ones in phase 1, the rest of them in phase 2. That can split it apart. So me as a treatment coordinator, I just print phase 1 out. Okay? What questions do we have right now before we move on? I've said a lot of things. Ash and Tip have weighed in. What questions do you guys have right now before we move on? Because as Jerem told me yesterday at Dental Intelligence, Kira, you speak really, really fast. So what questions do you guys have out there?
I also want to ask them the dummy codes and like the idea of this why we're doing that and separating them. I want to make sure that they've got their minds wrapped around that they're literally 2 separate treatment plans. So like we'll take Dentrix, for instance. Dentrix, you would literally push the little button that creates a new treatment plan and move those dummy codes to that and then print that. So I want to make sure everybody's got that idea wrapped around. So give us a yes or a no or a questions. Otherwise, we won't move on.
Exactly. So yes, you're fully clear. No, not clear. And then give us the questions. Excellent, Betty.
Yeah. So Bernarda's the explosion codes in Dentrix. So yeah, the dummy code you would just create, or you could just create in Dentrix. You can go ahead and create a new code, like a new ADA code, right? And you would just label it implant 1. Or whatever you wanted to label it. So you can do an explosion code, or you can do a dummy code, it doesn't matter. But then yes, I would have an explosion code for both of those.
So you could do it kind of like implant 1, and then this one would be like implant 2, or like D999, whatever's a made up code, D999.2. So you can do it like this. So that would create the codes for you. Excellent.
Yeah. And then Kimberly, at what point do you offer your patients financial options?
Excellent.
That is after the silence.
Yes, it
they
is.
ask for it.
So this will come down here as that. So before we move on, Kimberly, we're gonna get to you in just a minute. Thank you for asking that. I want to make sure everybody, before we move on, making these dummy codes, they're the bundled. So as you can see, extract and place would be 27976. Implant 1, D, whatever you want to make it up. It doesn't matter. You'll create that. That will be it. Do you have an example of dummy codes to plan? Are you doing 2 versions of treatment plans, 1 per patient, 1 per office? Excellent question. I just presented 1 to the patient. So I just presented, like literally, you guys see right here where I just highlighted, that was my treatment plan. It literally said like, this was visit 1, this was visit 2, and this was visit 3. So that's literally what it said. So like you guys know, it breaks it up into visits. This was exactly how it was broken down for a bigger treatment plan, because now they can see visit 1's this, visit 2's this, visit 3 is this. So they see in their mind, this is 3 visits, this is what it is, and I'm presenting for them. On the back end, I have all the ADA codes that are already in there. So when I actually make an appointment, I'm not going to take this extract and place and put that in the appointment block. I'm going to take all the codes associated with that, put that in my appointment block on the schedule. But I don't ever show the patient all the ADA codes for that amount. The reason we also did that was because I used to spa menu this up, and it was a bad idea. I would be like, so if you want to do 2 implants, it's this cost. If you want to do 4 implants, it's this cost. And if you want to do 6, it's this cost. I'm like, well, no, we just baselined our cost for implants and bigger cosmetic cases of this is what it needs to cost our office to do. This is what our total fee is. And so that way I wasn't sitting there and like wheeling dealing. So if Ashley only needs 2 implants and Tiffany needs 10, it was the same amount of our treatment plan. It did not matter. I closed way more cases because it wasn't a spa menu of do you want 2, 4, 6. It was truly, this is the package, and it won't matter how many implants we do, if we use bone grafting, if we do custom, if we don't do custom, it didn't matter. It was a total treatment. So doctors, when you make these dollar amounts, you need to know your overhead of all those costs. So no matter what, like worst case scenario treatment plan, if you're doing an implant on every single tooth, bone grafting on every single one of them, you're doing custom abutments, you know how much that's going to cost you, and you'll set a price based on that.
Okay, so I'm going to answer 2 and 1 real quick if you're okay with that, Kara.
Yeah, of course.
So we've got Ashley and Amanda who are basically asking the same question. So I get explosion codes, but it still shows all the codes on the treatment plan. And if using dummy codes with a fee still having the ADA codes will not show higher proposed. So that's where I wanted to make sure we have that separate, the idea is separated. So you have your explosion codes that have all of your ADA codes, and it lists out your 15 things that you need per implant or whatever, right? But then you have your dummy code, so you have your implant. That dummy code is that extract and place, that impressions, that delivery. You move that to a completely separate treatment plan so that it doesn't show all of those ADAs. So your treatment plan fees aren't higher, and then it doesn't show all the plans. So even Open Dental or Dentrix, any of the softwares, you can create multiple treatment plans. And so you would just take those onto its separated treatment plan and base it off of that. And then I hope that helps. If that didn't help, write in the chat. And then after what do you do with the dummy codes after treatment has been completed? You delete them. You just get rid of them. You just straight delete them. They don't need to go to the ledger. There's no billing. There's nothing, because you're utilizing your ADA codes for the schedule, setting that complete. That's what you're billing. So those dummy codes are strictly so that you can print out an easily digested treatment plan, or Flex will use that information as well if you're using Flex. Case acceptance reports will show all codes and fees, which include the dummy codes. We have other ways that we track it that does it separately for that reason. It's more precise. You can have 15 different options for one patient, and your case reports are going to be the same. So they're never going to be 100% accurate. One more real quick. How should you respond if they ask what is involved in extract and place or want a more detailed breakdown? That doesn't typically happen, Steve. It's very rare that patients want to see the breakdown. If they do, then fine, we print it out for them. We're not opposed to that, but I have literally never had someone ask for that when I've just written out like extract in place. They just want the bottom line typically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And if you guys remember, thanks, Tiff, that was solid. Ashley, we'll go to you in just a minute. If you guys are, oh man, I lost it. Oh, the extract in place. Notice the words we chose are ones that patients understand. Like I used to say seat as visit 3, but people don't understand what seat means, but they understand delivery. So like delivery of appliance, impressions for appliance, extraction of teeth and placement of implants. So that you can make it a little more specific, but use patient-friendly words that will help cut down on those questions for you as well. So Ashley, your questions that I follow makes my head hurt. Seems like extra work, but my brain is processing that idea. Fantastic. I love that you're processing this. We're challenging, we're shaking it up. That's why this is called Treatment Planning 2.0. This will make your brain feel funny because you'll feel like, well, this is so much extra work. When it closes cases because they say yes, you'll be like, and that was worth it. That's how I closed an $80,000 case same day because it wasn't hard for them to understand. They could literally look at them and be like, fantastic, there's 3 visits. Okay, I pay $25,000 today, beautiful. Or I pay my total of $55,000 today. Let's do this. I would also have a model. So on Amazon, you guys, there's a cheapest little, I think it's $20, and it's the easiest little thing. So you can show them what an implant looks like. You can show them these, like a root canal, things like that. I use that and show them this is what it's going to look like. We use Trinia, we use Bicon implants a lot. So I had the actual Trinia of what it would feel like and show them so that way they could see exactly what this was going to be. So this is a lot of, Tiff, thanks for that. That was exactly my point too of this extract in place. You don't have to create dummy codes. You could just do what Tiffany said, like that sheet we showed last week where she hand wrote it in. You could just write these in with the dollar amounts instead of making dummy codes if you want. So that might be an option for you as well. You could honestly probably just have it saved and just like put the patient's name on it because the dollar amount shouldn't change patient to patient to patient. So that's another beautiful thing. It won't change.
Both ways are fantastic. I've done it both ways. I do have an office that took a sheet like what we used last week. She took that sheet and she uploaded it as an Adobe form. Sure. And so it does all the math for her rather than writing it all out. And then one thing I want you guys to maybe think about is like consider if you went to the MD and you needed a cast, right? You had broken your wrist, you needed a cast. And rather than telling you what your insurance deductible was going to be, right? And they usually do that vocally. They don't even give you paperwork. They're just like, it's going to be $1,500, right? You're like, okay, what if they sat you down with this monstrous, think of like if you've ever bought a house, that's what it would look like, right? All of those sheets and like the really long ones, like at the car dealership of like the plaster, right? The time it takes the anesthesiologist to numb your arm, the anesthetic, the needle that they used for the anesthetic, you get charged for that. You get charged for the nurse that walked in before you were seen, the nurse who's there, and the nurse who checks on you later, and then you get charged for the person who walks you out. Like think about because in our minds, we see this every day, so it's simple. We're like, there's 60,000 numbers, but it's easy, it's right here. So you have to take yourself out of your current situation, out of what's easy for us to understand because we're in it every day, and think about it in a realm that makes sense. So even buying a car, like, do you really look at all those numbers, or are you like, okay, great, it's $23,000. I don't care about all of this other stuff because I can't tell you to take the tint off. It's already on there. I have to pay for it anyway. So why am I looking at this? Just give me the bottom line. So sometimes it's easier to flip it into a world that you can understand because you don't know that world, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Tiff, that was a beautiful, because I think when we hear the story of a car dealership or the MD, we can be like, yeah, I don't look at all those things. I just want to know what my bottom line is. And that's what we're trying to do, is make it very simple. And we have to remember, we've been doing this for years. We've been presenting treatment plans. We've been putting all those ADA codes in, and we think we're doing an awesome job making it easy. That's fine. Keep that up for the small cases. If you want to move into these bigger cases and close them, these are tactics we've used many times that work, that will help close cases. You can do it for other ones as well, but these are your like bigger, again, over 15,000. That's really going to help you guys a ton. So great question. So Kimberly, let's pop down to yours. Your question was like, when do we present finances? So we're up here. We just talked about how we prioritize and phase. We have these dummy codes in there, or whatever you choose to do. So I'm presenting a treatment plan to Ashley. Before I do that, I schedule. Now, I will say sometimes on these, you guys can test it out. Sometimes on these, I will actually move, and I'm curious on Tiffany and Ashley's take. Sometimes I actually move my scheduling after. Sometimes I'll put it before. When I'm doing an $80,000 treatment plan, the mindset's still the same. So you can still schedule them before you present the dollars. That way they're locked in. Sometimes when it's an $80,000 case, we need to talk about a few things before we'll actually schedule. So with this, I say you can have schedule here. And I would recommend that you try to schedule first. Same philosophy, we're putting focus on treatment. However, with these cases, I have found sometimes there's more questions that come up that I need to discuss before they're willing to schedule. Tiff or Ashley Dorn, any thoughts on that?
I totally agree. Yeah. For as much as you can, really try to schedule something. For some of our like really large cases, especially implant cases, you'll most often need like some CT or some sort of imaging. Working again in a cosmetic practice, we were really big on like oral photos. Mm-hmm. So sometimes we would consider that like the records appointment. And that could be a great appointment to combine with like, say, a small amount of consultation time as well. So if you do need to do some of those preliminary steps and you're not going to do them that same day, at least schedule some sort of like records or preliminary appointment, or even like the first step of what the large case would potentially be.
Mm-hmm. Excellent point. I love that point. Then you're going to present your treatment plan. Okay, so we phased it all up. Now we're going to present, and then we still pause there. I'm not going to assume it's money. I've had people hand over their credit card and say, here you go, let's do this. But other people ask questions. So Kimberly, to your point, this right here is then where we would present financing if needed. Okay, so we've got it all in the dummy codes. We're going to present it. It shows the fees over there, so they see it's like, hey, it's going to be $55,000. I don't say that out loud. I point to it, and then I just pause and I wait. And Ashley's going to be like, whoa, that was way higher than I was expecting. Like, okay, so what were you expecting? Let's talk about this. You want the fixed appliance. We know that. What were you expecting? Let's come up with a solution that works. I was expecting to pay more like $10,000 and then have payments. Beautiful. Let's do $10,000 and put you on care credit and have this work out for you. But by me asking, what were you expecting? She leads me into the financing options to offer. So I'm not offering our whole slew of this. I'm literally offering what she needs. A lot of offices get scared of that silence and they'll say, okay, Ashley, so I know this is a lot. And they say that. I know this is a big treatment plan. I know like this is a big investment. Why are we saying that? It's just treatment. Don't put those words out there. Just keep that to yourself. And then they'll say, oh, and so like we've got these 3 different options for financing. You let me know what you need. Why are we offering financing if she can just pay $80,000 today? Why am I assuming that? So Kimberly, I want to make sure that we answered your question with that. I say you present the financing if needed. You still will do the same thing. Pause, wait, and then ask, what were you expecting? Let's find a solution. There's always a solution. Tiff or Ashley Dorn, anything on that?
I just really love, and I hope everybody keyed in on this, Kira's verbiage on finding a solution, because that's huge. If you guys are solutions focused, number one, in your practice and with your team, but also with your patients, and that comes across to your patients feel that, man, that builds trust and relationships right there, number one. So if you're a very solutions-focused practice, especially when it comes down to financial options and treatment, case acceptance, it's going to be a win.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Okay. I say wait for them to ask for it. That's it. Just wait.
Just wait. And Kaylee popped in there and she said, assume the sale. You guys have to assume that patients will say yes. I literally don't go present a treatment plan if I think they're going to tell me no. Why? Why would I go present that? Like, oh, just got to do this so doc's not mad at me. He's like, hey, Dorn, I know this is a big treatment plan. I know you're probably going to say no to me, but I got to do the same. No. If I'm talking to you about finances, I'm talking to you about treatment. You want it, I want it. Let's assume this and find the solution. And notice I put on there, let's find it. There's always a solution. Let's find it. So it sounds like me and Ashley are on the same side of the table versus me and Tiffany sitting across the table. Like, hey, let's find the solution. And oftentimes you guys watch, if you're in a consult room, something like this between you, don't mind my drawings, guys, something like that between you will create a barrier. So like be professional. Don't be sitting like super chummy with them, but make sure there's nothing between you. Make sure it feels very open, that you're on their team. Let's find a solution and use phrases that will make them feel that you're on their team looking for a solution with them. That gives them a confidence in you as well. Okay? All right, you guys, questions on that. We have down here for payments. However, I think it's important for you guys to like nail this, rock it in as treatment planning 2.0. What questions do you have? We've definitely like spun your brains. This doesn't get talked about a lot. And this is one of our favorite things, which is why we called it treatment planning 2.0. So what questions do you have that's not clear? Give us a yes if you're totally clear. Like, yep, I can go implement this tomorrow. I feel great about it. I'm super excited. Give us a like, nope, need more clarity on this. That way we can clear that up for you.
We will hold the pause.
We will. If you guys notice, I do that little uncomfortable smile. And then people will respond. And if you guys are being jerks over there and not responding just to prove a point, don't do that. Are you clear? Give us a yes.
Don't put ideas into there. Stop talking.
I'm going to lose the freaking sale. Thanks, Roseanne, for saving the day. You're clear. Clear. We've got clear on there. Yes, yes, yep, clear. Okay. If you're not, pop it into the question. We want to hear from you. We want to make sure you're clear. All right, we're going to spin gears. Oh, thank you. We have a question. Good job, Ash. This is why Ashley does details, not me. Do you bundle procedures to make the treatment plan less complicated? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's clearing that up so it's not as complicated and making it very easy for them to see what the process is of how to get the result they want. They want a fixed implant case. They want a cosmetic case. Easy. Here's 3 little steps. We'll help you through. This is the price for each one of them. Then they're going to ask questions about how to make that a reality versus looking at everything on there and asking questions there. You're just cleaning it up and making it less complicated for them. And it's easy for us. We know all those ADA codes, but honestly, I promise you, they're like, shoot, there's a lot that looks like a lot. This is going to be really hard. I don't want to do it. So instead, 3 is very simple. Okay, that's easy. I can do that. And I let them know, hey, there might be more visits besides just 3. Don't even worry about it. This is like a general overview, and we'll walk you by step every visit so you know what's happening. This is the basic process of how this will work out. Some people even make the little bundle into like a visual. So when a person sits down, it's like, here's the 3 steps of how we do this, and our total is $55,000. That's it. So it makes it a lot less complicated. Okay, great questions, you guys. I really love webinars. Are fun when people participate because then we don't feel like we're just talking to space. So thank you. We feel like there's actually humans on the other side of this that are participating and engaging and challenging the things you've thought of, looking to see, could we do this? How could we do this? Is this something we'll even be trying? I would give you guys the invitation to try it for at least 6 weeks and just see. And email us, hello@thedentalateam.com if you have questions. We'll answer. We'll give you tips, feedback on how you can do that. So we're going to spin gears real quick to how to take payments in the back for hygienists and dental assistants, okay? This is going to be an uncomfortable conversation for some of your hygienists. We've heard it. The number one excuse from a hygienist is, I clean teeth, I don't take money. I don't want to be part of the money thing. That's not my thing. Same thing with dental assistants. Like, nope, they're just scared. They've never thought of it. So I asked them like, hey, how could this make a better patient experience? And if we focus on the patient experience, they're going to be more likely to do this because I guarantee you 95% of your team loves their patients and will do anything to make the patient experience the best. So if we take payments in the back, something like, we're spinning your brains all over today. This is why it's 2.0, not 1.0. So with the taking of payments, hygienists, we recommend that hygienists are taking payments for, we'll put it right here, fluoride. Fluoride is a super, super easy one. I can't tell you how many patients come up to the front and all they have to do is pay their $35 to the front desk gal and they could leave. Well, that's a bottleneck. Right now we're trying to disperse that bottlenecking, which is why we're teaching you guys how to do this. And so if they're taking payments for that simple fluoride of $35, you just cut down a huge traffic flow jam up front, and you've made it a better situation for all. So that's like the easiest spot. And most hygienists are like, hey, how crummy is it when you have to go up there, sit, wait? It's super complicated. And they're like, yeah, it totally is. Well, what if we just taught you, like, we actually could get all these credit cards on file. You wouldn't even have to wait for us. We don't have to, like, touch credit cards. Most, not all, will be on board. And usually, like, once they try it 1, 2, 3 times, they will be on board. The other like objective that we'll usually get from hygienists, especially, will say, well, there's no way I can't do this. I don't have enough time. And so we just help them see the time you sit there waiting to talk to Tiffany to drop your patient off, that you could literally just take this for fluoride, will save you so much time in the future. Again, just ask them, like, just try it for 6 weeks. And if we hate it, no big deal. We can totally change it up and genuinely mean that. Most people, it's just that fear of, how am I going to flip my room? How am I going to see my patients? Why am I taking money? This is going to be hard. So when people are prepping route slips, prepping appointments, they can put in there like hygiene is $35. This one has like a copay of $25 plus their $35. So today it'll be $55. Those simple little things that the front office can do will help hygienists have confidence to take payments in the back. If you guys want to take payments in the back, our favorite would be Flex. You can get it on Open Dental. You can actually save a credit card. And if you guys look down here, we actually have step-by-steps for Open Dental for you of how exactly to enter this and how to enter a payment and how to enter the type of payment. So we've literally gone through and made you guys step-by-steps to share with your team. If you're in Open Dental, we've only done this in Open Dental because you can actually save a credit card on file. And then it's easy when they come in the next time. Hey, Kara, we're just going to run that card you have on file for $35 today. You don't even have to exchange. That would be what I would say. Ashley, Dorn, Tiffany, any thoughts on that tip?
I think Flex and potentially Modento, I can't remember if Modento does or not, but I'm pretty sure Flex, you can populate it on your iPad and take it to the room and run a card right there as well. Or you can, I think it's Flex. I always get them all confused. There's so many companies, but I think Flex, you can text them. Dentrix Pay works too. If you have Dentrix Pay and paying for that, absolutely. Thank you, Amanda. But yeah, Flex, you can text your patient. So you could even just text them a link and then they can click, like in your operatory, click that link on their text messages and pay from their phone. So there's literally no transaction. They just pay right there.
It's so easy. Ashley, Dorn, thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree. And like you mentioned, like preparing in advance for this, things the front office can do. An office I worked in, what they did is they just literally wrote the dollar amount to collect right within, like typed it within the appointment on the schedule. So you could literally see like on your schedule was the patient's name, the services, like your ADA codes were in there, and then the dollar amount. And we knew that dollar amount was the dollar amount that needed to be collected. But again, like it's so important right now, especially with post-COVID or coming back after this pandemic situation, avoiding getting that bottleneck of patients, just cluttering around the front office. And this is a super, super easy way, quick, efficient, like right up there. It'll streamline this so much more, and your patients will recognize it and they'll appreciate it.
Yes. And I think sometimes we think patients will think we're weird, like prepayment, like it's going to be weird. So this is just an area of efficiency that we've seen that a lot of patients and offices love. If we didn't think offices loved it, we wouldn't share it. And if we didn't think it'd make your practice the most efficient, we're not going to share it. We don't want to make teams hate us. We're called the Dental A team. Like we advocate for teams. We're working with teams. So just know you might get a little resistance on this, but I would try it. And Clover is great. I know on Open Dental, you can actually hand enter the credit card. So you don't even have to have a swipe. Most of your credit card merchant processors will do some type of online payment or they'll do a card. So there's lots of different ways you can do this. We're not recommending they take payments via cash. That's not our preferred way. This is credit cards. If they need to pay for cash or they need to pay with a check, they pay it front. Some hygienists are like, what? You want me to like have cash in my drawers that I'm having to like, no, that's not what we're talking about. This is simply the quick, fast, easy credit cards that you can do. Dental assistants, same thing. They could help out taking payments for same-day treatment. So they could just bring the card, swipe, take care of that. That would be the recommendation for you guys. And then down here at the very bottom is the magic phrase for getting your credit card on file. I wanted to leave you guys with this quick phrase. I heard it in an office and I thought it was pure magic. So the front desk is doing this to collect. Back office can help with this, but this was like a challenge that they had, and they actually set it as someone's KPI for a 6-month period, that their goal was to get every patient with a credit card on file within 6 months, because most patients come on a 6-month cycle. So that was their KPI and their goal. And the magic phrase is this the card you'd like to keep on file? So if Ashley pays with her credit card and I say, cool, Ash got it. Is this the card you'd like to keep on file? Generally speaking, they said yes. I watched this office. They saw about 85 to 100 patients a day. They're a really large practice. And they got almost every single patient to say yes using that exact phrase. So Tiffany, is this the card you'd like to keep on file? You guys have to realize this is a phrase that we as human beings are used to hearing. When you make a rental car, when you do a hotel, when you do an airline ticket, when you buy anything online, when you set up a spa appointment, is this the card you'd like to keep on file? It is everywhere. So we're just joining the rest of the world on taking payments. So that's kind of all in a nutshell. Tiffany, Ashley, Dorn, any things you want to add in on taking payments, different tips, anything you want to add for that portion?
I love that statement. I think everyone should start using that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I'm going to definitely make sure everybody's using that. That's brilliant.
I thought it was so smart. Like, wow, that was brilliant. Is this the card you would like to keep on file? And as soon as they give you a yes, you guys need to check your state laws before we get you all hyped on this. Check your state laws. Some states won't allow you to keep a credit card on file, so just make sure you check with that. Some require a signed form. A lot of states do not require a signed form. Think about it. You guys talk to the restaurant, like you give your credit card to all these different places. So just make sure you check with the law to make sure you're not breaking the law and what's allowed for your state. But yeah, it doesn't even have to be something you sign. You could add it to new patient paperwork, but is this the card you'd like to keep on file? Super easy. And then what most offices do that have the cards on file, they'll run any balance under $50 because most people don't get upset with that. Anything above that, they'll call them and say, hey, Kiera, just so you know, you have a balance, your insurance paid X amount. It's going to be $125. We'll plan to run that on Friday. So giving me a courtesy that I know it's going to run, most patients will say yes. So offices that do this also increase their collection ratio. So, all right, you guys, Workshop Wednesday. So that's a wrap for you guys. You guys just learned how to do treatment planning 2.0, and you learned how to do keeping a credit card on file plus payments. So we want to hear from you. What is your action plan? What are you planning to take? What is the thing that like struck you that you're like, yep, I'm going to go implement this week? Put it in the chat. We want to hear, share your ideas, and then we'll roll into Q&A. So what are you as an office or as a person, what are you taking from today's workshop that you're actually going to go implement this week? Remember, a true decision is made when action's taken. So Steve, look at the dummy codes. Thank you, Steve. Steve, I love that you are on top of this and you respond a lot. Thank you, Steve. Credit card and file. Awesome. Love that. It's going to be so fun. Dummy codes, bundling our treatment plans. What else are you guys going to implement this week? Steve won a $50 Amazon gift card, you guys. We don't mess around with our implementations. So don't make sure you got a good implement. Look into the credit card on file law. Yes. Check that out. It'll be a great thing if you can get that in your practice and then just train your whole front office. Set that as a goal for them. They'll love it. Excellent. Credit card on file. Yes, it works so well. You guys have the steps to do this. When I trained in office on how to enter credit cards on file, the whole team was super anxious to do it. It took me about 30 minutes to walk them all through. I had all of them try it out, gave them the step-by-steps. They were not at all afraid after they did. They're like, oh, this is so easy. It was just the fear that was holding them back. We have simplify large cases and not always doing consults. Yes. Try that out, Amanda. I think you're going to love, love, love that. It's crazy. You'll be shocked at how many people say yes to you when you simplify this up. Awesome. All right, Tiff and Ash, any last thoughts before we wrap up today?
No, today was a whirlwind. I love it. Oh, Steve said he already got the gift card. Yay. Thank you,
Steve. That's what we're talking about. Way to go, Rachel and Kaylee. Thank you guys for getting, Steve, you already got it. Nicely done. All right, Ash.
No, just great. I mean, I love being here. I love the participation. So thank you guys truly for participating. It makes us feel like here, so like we're actually helping real people, which is one of the things, like I mentioned, we really love doing. So awesome job.
Yes, absolutely. All right, you guys, be sure to join us next week, Workshop Wednesday. Our topic we're rolling into is patient flow. We're going to be helping you guys with that patient experience, patient flow. So be here next week, Wednesday, 12 o'clock Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Make sure you block it in your calendars. We're going to keep rolling with Workshop Wednesdays and get ready, you guys. There's going to be some fun things the Dental team's rolling out for you. So thank you guys. Share this workshop with your friend. Next week, just so you know, we do reward participation. So next week's challenge, Tiff, if you'll put this in the chat, bring a friend with you. I don't care if it's a team member. I don't care if it's another office. I don't care who it is. You are going to be entered into our giveaway. And honestly, I make these up on the spot. So who knows what we'll be giving next week. Kaylee and Rachel, I think, get scared like what's she going to give away. So next week, bring a friend with you. We don't care who it is. Bring a friend with you. Share this webinar with somebody that you think it could benefit. And as always, you guys, thank you, coaches. Thank you, Ashley, Tiffany, for joining. Thank you, Rachel and Kaylee. You guys do countless work behind the scenes, and I can't thank you enough. And all of you, thank you for being here. Thanks for being part of our Dental team. Catch you guys next time.
And you guys, that's a wrap on the Dental team. But don't worry, the Dental team actually has a newsletter where we send out more tips and tricks every single week straight to your inbox. No, these are not podcast topics. These are additional topics that have downloadable forms. So head on over right now to thedentalyteam.com, register for our free newsletter. We don't spam you. We don't send you junk. We just send you tips and tricks for your team. This is a great way, you guys. You could get your whole team on an email campaign if you can't get them to listen to the podcast. So head on over to thedentalyteam.com right now and become part of our newsletter family.